So you want to know, what's a microclimate? Being aware of microclimates and creating your own with intention can assist you in growing a wide variety of plants that you wouldn't normally be able to grow. In this video, I'm going to show you specific examples of microclimates and how you can implement them in your own garden. Welcome to True Freedom Permaculture, where I show you all the tips and tricks you need in order to have a green thumb, even if you weren't born with one. Now, microclimates are defined as areas that have a different climate than the entire area surrounding them. Because we're located in the northern hemisphere, the southern side of our homes receive the largest amount of heat transfer, which all that means is that they receive the most amount of energy from the sun. In my case, at my home, it's the herb garden that's on my back deck, and that receives the most amount of sunlight. Now, the opposite is also true, so I'm going to show you the north side of my home. Okay, so here is the north side of my home, which receives a lot of sun protection from the house. And if I were to plant something like sun-loving basil or rosemary here, it wouldn't do very well. But crops such as this oregano and these ostrich ferns here, which favor partially shaded to fully shaded conditions, do quite well here. Besides heat, another factor to consider in microclimates is the amount of water an area receives or doesn't receive. Notice here I have a downspout. As a result, quite a bit of water will gather here. Therefore, I would want to plant something that favors dry conditions. However, plants that do well in damp conditions would do very well. The last microclimate factor I'm going to discuss with you today is wind. Houses, buildings, fences, bushes, and even trees are all examples of windbreaks, and these are just a few examples. Now, that being said, it's not always in your best interest to want to protect something from the wind. You can also channel the wind and use it to your advantage. An easy example of this is plants that require good air circulation. If you have a very dense windbreak surrounding a plant, it's not going to get adequate air circulation, and that air circulation is what dries off the leaves and sometimes the fruit of the plants and prevents it from getting a disease, and it dries out the conditions so that bacteria can't form on the plants. Wind can also be a really great thing too. You know, it's really worth walking around your garden and paying attention to the areas that receive more or less water, more or less sun, and more or less protection from the wind, and other factors such as these. That way, you can make the best plan for where you'd like to place your plants, and you're giving them the best chance to thrive. Also, you can really scale this up when you're planning the landscaping for your home. For example, deciduous trees that are located on the south side of your home will shade it, and it'll keep your house quite a bit cooler in the summer. But because the leaves fall off later in the year, they'll ultimately allow light to come through and warm up your home in the winter. Microclimates ultimately create more diversity in the flora and fauna in your local environment. They extend the growing season too. They can even lower your heating and cooling bills if you plan it right. Another way to create a microclimate in your garden is through the use of mulch. The mulch will help insulate the ground beneath in the winter, and it will keep the ground cooler in the warmer months. Click on the video coming up right here and we'll review the importance of mulch together. I'll meet you over there.